Welcome to today's game of Jeopardy! I'm your host, Oliver Friedman. Let's meet our contestants today. First person. The first question.
What is a processing manufacturing engineer?
And that's correct for 400 points.
Processing manufacturing engineers are highly analytical and detail-oriented. They're imaginative and creative. They love working with teams on projects that need to be improved.
And that's correct for 800 points.
One of the biggest challenges working in manufacturing can be the rigorous work schedule in order to meet product demand. Someone's had to work for 6 days a week for 2 months in order to meet the standards that his company asked for.
And that's correct for 800 points.
For PerkinElmer, which is a biomedical device company that works to help scientists, clinicians, and governments detect earlier and more accurately to help improve the health and safety of people in the environment.
And that's correct for 800 points. And we'll be right back after a quick message from our sponsors.
Do process and manufacturing engineers do hands-on work?
Well, hands-on work is scarcely used by manufacturing process engineers. Some people do the hands-on work in which they actually test the product they are improving by designing test methods. Otherwise, the majority of the work is done through researching, designing, and modifying the product, which can be done on a Mac computer.
There's not a lot of women in the office as a processing manufacturing engineer. Only 11% of engineers are women. But we just hired a woman as you can see to my right. So I'm probably going to have to start using deodorant. And now back to the show.
It is very important to have a good physics background, so you'd be able to conceptually understand the things that go on every day. However, you don't need to know the exact measurements of everything and be very strong in fields of math.
And that's correct for 800 points.
One upside to being a process manufacturing engineer is that they don't need to worry about the business and marketing aspects of the company. So they really just focus in on their specific role and they master that.
And that's correct for 200 points. And let's take one more break for some more commercials. To start out as an engineer, most people have to do some sort of internship. It's not always easy because they ask a lot of you in an internship and you don't really get paid. And to get your energy up for these long days that they ask of you without spending a lot of money, good place to go is Starbucks. And we're back to see the last few questions answered on this round of Jeopardy. Speed round. Let's see how many questions Sam can answer in a short amount.
Okay, so what type of engineer are you?
So I am a process and manufacturing engineer, which means that I help support product lines in the factory as they're being assembled and produced, and deal with issues that arise, and also come up with new ways to make things that make them better, faster, cheaper, more efficiently. So I work in a high volume production line, which means we build thousands of these products a day. So a lot of what I do is making sure that not only are we building enough of these products a day, and we're building them right, and when something goes down, if say a machine breaks, and they have to figure out why a machine breaks, or maybe the machine didn't break, but it's not spitting out parts the way it's supposed to. I have to, figure out what's wrong with the machine, and it's not oh, this thing broke again. It's it's there. You have to do an investigation and figure out what happened, and after you figure out why it's not working, then you have to figure out the solution for how to fix it.
What is your favorite project that you have worked on as an engineer?
So I actually like the project that I'm working on now, which is basically the product that I work on. It's something called a microfluidic chip, and basically what it is it allows you to do certain biological and chemical tests much cheaper, faster, and more efficiently than the current standard procedure. This is kind of a sort of a state-of-the-art technology, so it's kind of cool because I'm not curing cancer, but I'm building the machines and the parts that cancer researchers are using in their research. So it's much more rewarding than some of the other products that I'm working on. I've also worked on missiles that blow people up, which so I like work. I feel like I'm actually doing something helpful to society right now. I like that.
Yeah, makes sense. What tools do you use in your job?
So, because I work in manufacturing, I work with a lot of sort of production tools. So, for instance, I work with some dicing saws that can dice apart to.
And how many other engineers do you work with?
And then, my company employs, tons of engineers because, they're a technology company ultimately, and they need engineers to develop new technologies and then also to do what I do and actually produce.
What makes your field different than others?
The work environment of a process manufacturing engineer is very fast-paced and chaotic. The production of thousands of products each day requires a lot of attention to ensure maintenance and improvement.
And that's correct for 800 points.
Is they sort of space their development projects out so that you have, when that sort of wave peaks, you've got a bunch in succession. So once one starts to tail off, you've got another one that's starting to peak, and that way you're constantly making money. Because at the end of the day, companies need to make money to survive. That's what they do.
And that's correct for 400 points.
So basically, a design engineer, they'll design this part, and that's all well and good. But now you've got to figure out, okay, what's the recipe to build it, and then so that's kind of what I do. Is I don't design products. I design recipes and processes to build things, and then half of it's designing those processes, and the other half is troubleshooting it when things do go wrong. Because in the real world.
And that's correct for 800 points.